Okay, to start you guys off with, I'm just going to tell you a story that I heard a couple weeks ago. It's about a Peruvian woman, and if you know anything about the structure of Latin America, you know that it's a pretty unstable place. There's guerrilla armies and political unrest, stuff like that. But the story I'm going to tell you is about a Peruvian woman and her family. And her husband was believed to be kidnapped by a guerrilla army. So she was left with 6 kids and no way to take care of her family. So she was basically forced to live in a house of sticks because she had no way to provide for her family. And she would collect bricks and set them in the corner of her house. And every time someone would come into her house, they would say, well, what's this corner of bricks doing in your house? She would say, well, one day I hope to build a house for my family so we can have adequate shelter. And so a group called 10,000 Villages got wind of this. And they found out that she made these little llama-shaped toys named vicuñas. And they started buying them from her. And the vicuña is really cool. It's like lamb fur for wool. It feels like llama fur anyway. But they started trading and buying these vicuñas from her. And because of this trade partnership that she has with 10,000 Villages, she now owns a 4-story complex and employs over 60 people. So it's pretty amazing what some organizations can do. I'm a volunteer at 10,000 Villages, and I can see firsthand, like this story, the impact that fair trade and that 10,000 Villages has on poor artisans around the world. As a fair trade participant, 10,000 Villages makes a direct contribution to fighting the cycle of endless poverty, enhancing the lives of those who are impoverished while offering them a chance to improve themselves and their communities. Being involved with 10,000 Villages is something that's important to all of us at a college age because in the eyes of the community, a lot of us know the stereotypes of like the good-for-nothing college student or the up-to-no-good college student. But investing in 10,000 Villages as a volunteer or as a buyer will help enhance that vision and help you look better in the eyes of the community. So what I'm going to talk about is fair trade and how 10,000 Villages practices it. I'm also going to talk about volunteering and why it's important and how to do it. And I'm going to talk about upcoming events and current events at 10,000 Villages. So start out with 10,000 Villages is a non-profit organization, and they have over 160 stores in North America, and they actively practice fair trade. Now, fair trade is different from free trade. Free trade is more political than socioeconomic. But basically what happens with fair trade is an organization like 10,000 Villages goes out and in developing countries and they find artisans to work with, poor artisans. And once they start working with them, they bring their materials to the United States and they sell them for a fair price. And that money goes directly to the artisans and they help bolster that artisan's economic status as well as help their community. And as I just mentioned, they're a nonprofit organization. And because of this, they can't operate like a standard business. What I mean by this is they can't distribute money to all their employees equally because they're nonprofit. So this is a pretty big problem. You might wonder how they get people to work for them. Well, the problem, or the answer to this problem is volunteerism. And Jennifer Trombino, the manager at 10,000 Villages, says, volunteers are the lifeblood of 10,000 Villages, and they help keep the organization running because they keep overhead costs low. Basically what this means is that the money that would otherwise go to pay the volunteers for their services as employees goes to the artisans for their work. So basically you can see the artisans as the full-term or the full-time paid employees of 10,000 Villages. And the volunteers are just merely the people who make that possible. You can volunteer if this is interesting to you. You can volunteer by either talking to me or filling out a personal application, or you can visit the website 10,000villages.com to do some research if you're still a little sketchy on the idea. And if you want to learn more about the organization, you can do that. Also, I want to talk to you about some events. There's an event right now going on the last Friday of every month. It's a drum circle. You may be kind of familiar. They use these. This is a djembe. A lot of these are made in Burkina Faso, and they sell a lot of them at 10,000 Villages. And they're really cool. They're really a lot of fun if you ever played one. It's worth checking out, the drum circle. It's held, like I said, every month on the last Friday. It's held in the Parish Hall of St. Margaret Mary Church on Park Avenue in Winter Park. And Jason Isla is a local drum facilitator with 10,000 Villages, and he's going to be hosting the drum circles. He said, drum circles provide opportunities for community connection, interactive play, and healthy fun. Individuals of all ages and abilities come to a drum circle, but through the power of rhythm and percussion, participants leave as a rejuvenated whole. And the drum circles are free of charge. You don't have to have a drum or even the skill to play a drum to come. Everyone's welcome. And after the drum circle, you can enjoy like refreshments and check out the store and hang out with everyone who's in the drum circle. In addition to the Strum Circle, there are other various seminars hosted by 10,000 Villages, and to get information on those, because they happen at different times, just check out the website, 10,000villages.com. So kind of to wrap it up, I just want to reiterate a few points. As a fair trade participant, 10,000 Villages makes a direct contribution to fighting the cycle of endless poverty, enhancing the lives of those who are impoverished while offering them a chance to improve themselves and their communities. And they do this by practicing fair trade. And fair trade is I guess the base of it is volunteerism, which is very important as they're nonprofit organizations. And you really should check out events like the Drum Circle that are put on by these events. And I would just encourage you to do that. And without fair trade in 10,000 Villages, the Peruvian woman, do you remember the Peruvian woman at the beginning of the story? She would still be living in squalor and not be able to support her family. But thanks to 10,000 Villages, she can live a better life. And so I just want to leave you with a quote. It's from a published anthropologist, Margaret Mead. It says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So take the word of Margaret Mead, a published anthropologist, and myself, a poor UCF student, and check out 10,000 Villages.